Hi there, this is a tarot reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant for the month of February 2019. This time I'm going to start with these cards over here, which is basically showing you in the center and then kind of like what's sort of immediately influencing you and in your sphere. So it's interesting because it's almost like you're in, this is the daughter of Pentacles, which is kind of like the page, but in this deck it's slightly different system, right? It's a family interpretation. So anyway, the daughter of Pentacles suggests that you're like in sort of a vulnerable place with regard to deciding what to do with your life. We could say financially as well, but of course this is like more, I would see this more as like a career decision, what path to go in. You're definitely wondering about, how to keep things together, how to make things work, how to maybe find some semblance of order or stability. And you're probably getting a lot of pressure from your father or your boss, or, just sort of some dominant male figure in your life. But this could also be trying to like live up to an expectation that spans like a long period of time, like a tradition, or it's like that thing of like, well, my father was this, his father was this, his father was this, right? So it's like, this lineage thing that's maybe being emphasized here, kind of pushing you towards something, kind of just safe. The Four of Pentacles is one of those tricky cards where it can signify stability, but it's sort of at what cost kind of a thing. It's even in this version of the card, right? These Four Pentacles, they're held together by these strands of energy, but how stable is that really, right? So that's kind of the vibe there, looking for just sort of stability, but that's it, like just sort of a boring, like basic needs met, the kind of just the four general areas of life, just like everything in a box, all the most basic level of things met, because four is really just the most basic thing, like and a lot of people don't go beyond the level of four in their daily lives, right? Artists definitely go to like 5 and 6. Really powerful individuals who kind of like are prophetic or striking out on their own, they get into the sphere of the 7 and possibly the 8. And then of course, like really 8, 9, and 10, that's more the, the masters, like the high saints, the high masters, the Buddhas, people like that. And of course, that's a discussion for another time. But the point is like, what the question becomes this month: why are you so concerned with this just earthly nature? Why are you so concerned with the mundane, right? And what is this expectation you have, or who's influencing you, or what is this idea you have that you have to be a certain way according to like a tradition, or a very like you have to succeed a lot. That's not really you, at least not this month, right? This fawn here representing you is more of more of an innocent energy. It's more of a pure, innocent energy that doesn't necessarily get caught up in worrying about this stuff. So it's kind of a stressful situation, I would imagine. And who knows, maybe this is already playing out for you. Okay, coming over here, we have the past, present, future. This is sort of the central aspect of the reading. So we have Temperance reversed in the past. Okay, Temperance reversed in the past. And this is interesting because it would basically just suggest that recently what's influencing you is just not being very balanced or temperate with things in life, right? That you were maybe biting off more than you could chew, so to speak, and it has created a fog, a lack of clarity is how I would look at it. So there's sort of a lack of clarity and a muddying of the waters of your your everyday experience and whatnot, you know. We could say that, of course, this is an emotional imbalance, that on some level the emotions are just being basically really imbalanced, and it's become, and that you're having a difficult time like really heeding, you could say good advice, maybe. I'm gonna go with that, good advice. And we'll come back to this with the Eight of Pentacles, and this is, of course, something we are going to want to note, right? 8 and 4, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, the present scenario, so to speak, the major kind of energy of the month is the Sun of Cups. Okay, so on some level, this could represent, there could be some sort of romantic thing here between these two cards. I don't know. It's going to be different for every person, obviously, but there could be, you know, especially if you are somebody who's attracted to men, right? There could be a young, idealistic man in your life, really sort of taking up a lot of your thoughts and whatnot. And you may also find that you're being offered something, right? But what's interesting about this is that offering is heading towards the Devil card, which is by no means a bad card, but it's not necessarily a card that is great for relationships, right? It's a card that can create a lot more bondage and misery and suffering when it has to do with relationships, right? And the thing is on either side of this Sun of Cups, which is a fairly auspicious card, we do have, again, reverse Temperance and the Devil. And so, you know, it's sandwiched in between two very intense major arcana. This is 14 and this is 15, right? So there's a transition happening for sure. And if this is not like a young man who's offering you something, it may very well be that you are heading from an emotionally imbalanced state into an emotionally tumultuous state, right? I would be very weary, very cautious, right? And very aware about who you open up to this month, who you give your energy to, right? Who you have exchanges with, who you share food or drink with, because that's a very powerful energetic exchange. That's why in certain myths, you can become trapped in like a fairy domain or an underworld domain if you eat the food there, right? Just like Persephone in the myth, she eats the pomegranate seeds, so she becomes trapped for 1 month for each pomegranate seed that she ate. You know, especially if the food is prepared by said person, right? Because then it's their thing, it's their energy, so to speak. So that's something to kind of think about, right? Like, who are you offering yourself to? Who are you opening yourself up to? And why are you seeking the dark side, Taurus, right? Why are you going toward this unknown sphere, this chthonic underworld kind of domain, you know? If you play with fire, you're going to get burned, that type of a thing. You know, the Sun of Cups is very idealistic card, you know, and very sensitive card, right? Very sensitive type of person is somebody who's represented by this card. It's not really somebody that can easily handle the energies of the devil, right? To handle the energies of the devil, we ideally need a swords type card. And actually, as it stands, we have the Sun of Swords in the position under the devil, which gives us insight into how to really approach the future, right? So this would suggest that instead of just sort of blindly and passionately and emotionally moving into this kind of underworld or unknown domain or flirting with danger and that all that sort of stuff, right? That instead you keep your distance and you approach whatever conflict or whatever space this is, right? Even if it's something you have to do, something you have to interface with, you approach it with like a calm poise where you don't give too much away, right? You don't make yourself vulnerable, but if anything, you would want to trick the enemy, so to speak, whatever that enemy is, into thinking that you're vulnerable, right? But all the while being very, very cautious, but very inwardly sort of like stoic, inwardly steeling yourself against whatever may be going on, right? And so you defend yourself. You bring something to defend yourself with, right? And part of that is just being as objective as possible, not giving yourself completely over to it, investigating it first. Maybe it's not as quote unquote bad, whatever this is, as you think it is, right? Maybe it's something that is easily defeated, but you won't know unless you can really assess it unemotionally, right? The Son of Swords can deal with the Devil card domain, absolutely. And, I want to turn our attention to the Hierophant here, which is the Major Arcanum card that in this spread represents sort of like the totality of the spread, but also kind of lends some advice as well. And the Hierophant card is here, I think, again, sort of reiterating this Son of Swords mentality, right? But this has to do with like being learned and really understanding how things work and what's going on, right? And the Hierophant is 5 and the Devil is 15. So they're both 5 cards. They actually mirror one another. And so I would say that while the Devil can represent wisdom and teachings gained from interfacing with like the hidden part of ourself, the Hierophant represents wisdom and teachings that are brought to us, right, by some sort of well-founded tradition or holy text kind of a thing, like the raven, bringing us a message, so to speak, rather than us going into the darkness to find it. So this is sort of, to me, this would suggest that what you have here in February is an opportunity to like re-examine your belief system and your ideas, and and it may be a good idea to consult like a really good book or two on wisdom teachings, or to find somebody who you can talk over your problems with, somebody you can consult with who can give you some good feedback and some good advice. You may be thinking about things in a way that is inharmonious or detrimental to yourself. And so if there's somebody in your life who can like lay it out for you very clearly and succinctly and accurately, right, it may be a little painful to hear the truth because we lie to ourselves a lot, right? But the truth will set you free, right? The truth will give you the opportunity to transcend those limitations and those lies and so on. And so the Hierophant is kind of like a go back to basics, right? Don't mess with the dark side so much, right? You're not quite, maybe, I don't know if you're quite ready for this level, right? You may have to deal with it on some level, right? But you're not actually fully entering it if you approach it via the Son of Swords. If you approach it as the Son of Cups, yeah, you're going to just get lost in it, right? You're just going to go all in, be overly idealistic and go all in. But the Son of Swords is more saying like, okay, I can investigate this, I can check this out, but I'm not landing on it. I'm just checking it out honestly. And so that's kind of the dichotomy here. So go back to something more wholesome in a sense with the Hierophant. Like if you were a Christian, right, really study the teachings of Christ. Don't interface with like the teachings of the church. Interface with all of the things that Christ is reported to have said in the Gospels, and look at that. If you were a Muslim, right, really then study the Quran on your own. And for any other religion too, like if you're practicing some religion in India, like some form of the Sanatana Dharma, right? Like you're going to want to, see what's really there in the scriptures, go reinvestigate the Bhagavad Gita or the Vedas or whatever you're drawing from. Don't let somebody else tell you what it is. Don't get caught up in the allure of power, right? If there's people or opportunities that seem like a quick way out or that kind of a thing, don't get caught up in it, right? Because it's not going to be what it seems. The Devil represents contracts, Okay, but it always represents contracts that sort of take something from you, right? They're never quite what they seem, and they always have a price to pay later on. And if you are worried about, achieving this sort of mundane, kind of boorish existence because of pressure, right? You may be looking for a quick fix. There may be people coming forward who are like, oh, you want to get rich quick? This is how to do it. Well, it's not a good place to go. Trust me. Sorry, don't trust me, trust the cards. And temperance is not, temperance upside down like this is not going to reinforce your ability to make even keeled decisions, right? There's going to be more impulsiveness. There's going to be more opportunity to lose yourself, unfortunately. Okay. Alrighty. So what's below this, like intemperance, this sort of like whatever, getting, this emotional kind of imbalance, upheaval sort of thing. Well, apparently the Eight of Pentacles, right? So on some level, you were either being like, again, too idealistic with what you can achieve in the world, or too complacent with what you had, and maybe on some level you're afraid that you're going to lose it, that it's going to get cut in half, right? And then what will everyone think of me? The spider's web here is a good, I love this representation of the Eight of Pentacles, because this is a very good representation, right? The spider's web is like super strong. It's like perfectly harmonic, and the spider can be anywhere on it, can sense all this stuff, and he or she can get to the prey before it can do anything. But the thing is that the web itself is also, while it's total harmony, right, while it waits for things to come to it, it is also, in a sense, it can symbolize like complacency and being so wrapped up in what you've created, right, that it just becomes, it actually becomes imbalanced. What if the spider makes his or her web in a place where there is no prey? I had a spider living on it made this kind of weird sort of tent web on the side of my refrigerator once, and it lived under it, right? And then one day it was just gone. And I think it just realized, like, okay, there's really not enough food here for me to survive, so I got to bounce. And I let it stay there because I love spiders, and I considered it to be something auspicious and a kind of like he was like the guardian of my kitchen or something. So yeah, I really like spiders, but anyway, that's besides the point. The point is that spider left, right? Because it realized this isn't really going to work out. As great as it seemed at first, it's just not going to work out. Okay, and so by not doing that, right, or by trying to get out of it quickly, you may be creating imbalance. So I hope that's helpful, and you can be aware of that. The card behind, right, that's sort of behind the present scenario, this Six of Wands. This is a very auspicious card, actually. And to me, it would recommend, sorry, my cat is hunting mice right now, so that's why I keep turning around. That may be some kind of an omen for you, Taurus, for the month of February. I'm not quite sure. Oh, well, actually, no, I can relate it to this. Yeah, it would potentially be an omen of, the cat is hunting the mice, right? And for me, the mice represent something that's, I don't want it to be here anymore, because they're destructive, and they defecate and that sort of thing, and they smell, right? So in a sense, it's like the cat is rooting out, you could say, like, it's a representation of like rooting out impurities or something like that, like getting rid of impurities. And maybe that could relate to, well, it definitely relates to the Son of Swords sort of like versus the devil kind of thing. It's like, okay, like I'm going to make this quick and painless, right? This particular cat, I've seen him kill mice. It's quick and painless. He doesn't play with the mice too long. He just kills them and then leaves them there. He's really not interested in playing with them, right? So he's not going to do this dance with the devil. He's just going to go for the jugular without malice. And that's also what the mice catching omen could be. But it could also be like this, reinterpreting this a bit, right? This whole 4 versus the 8. This could be like kind of getting rid of impurities, right? Maybe going back down to a more simple level could be effective if it's going to allow you to build things back up in a way that will again be harmonious, right? As a spider being in a place where you could actually catch prey, because there is prey to run into the web, so to speak. Okay, so sorry, back to this, the 6 of Wands, the butterfly emerging from kind of this tangle of trees and whatnot. 6 of Wands is traditionally just a very powerful card. It's just all around empowerment and success and beauty and glory, right? And being kind of the card, being what represents what's behind the present. On some level, it could symbolize that you are searching for power, which is why you're attracted to this questionable situation here, whatever that offering is, right? Whatever that dark side is. You are actually wanting power, but in fact, you probably already have the power that you're seeking. You know, I mean, the Son of Swords is even going towards this card. So again, with the advice, right? Go towards a power that is not based upon something or somebody external, right? A power that just comes from more just being you and doing what you need to do, you know, to put it succinctly, I suppose. So this is I guess to sum it up, you know, this is a month about like power and empowerment and power struggles in a way for you, right? And the question becomes, you know, are you gonna do are you gonna pay attention to what's real and true, or are you gonna try to find a quick and quote unquote easy solution that is actually at the end of the day a pitfall? So I think there's tremendous opportunity here for you to confront some things in your life, to root out the mice of your consciousness and so on, without becoming attached and overly emotional and whatnot. But it's going to take some work. It's going to take some real contemplation and insight and perhaps meditation. I think the Son of Swords and the Hierophant could be a call toward some kind of just some kind of technique that makes things clearer. And it doesn't have to be meditation, right? There are different types of meditation, of course, but I'm thinking of like Vipassana, if you want to search that, Vipassana style meditation. But it could be as simple as writing things down and getting like a really clear idea and understanding of what's going on, so that you can see it laid out in front of you and you can go, oh, now I see it. Yeah, this is not really a good opportunity because there's all these like hidden fees, or there's a hidden agenda or something like that, right? So especially if anyone's offering you like a multi-level marketing thing, which would be a very devil kind of thing to me, I don't recommend it. No matter how good it sounds, those people, you know, bless their hearts, but they just want to make money at the end of the day, and it is a lot of hard work. It's not as easy as they ever make it out to be. So, okay, so that does it for February. I hope this reading was helpful. If you enjoyed it, please hit like, subscribe, find me on Facebook, and check out my website for individualized offerings and more. And I don't know if it'll be up by the time I'm putting this video out, but I am working on getting a Patreon page up under the same name, Heavenly Branches Astrology and Tarot, right? So you can donate to the Patreon when that's up and whatnot. Okay, I don't know what just happened. Oh, somebody is calling me. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so that about does it. Okay, I'm going to get going now and have a great month.